Hello, Matt Davis here with more video quiz help. This one is from section 6.3. Consider the normal distribution with mu equal to 3.1416 and sigma equal to 0.82781. Suppose two x values have an area of 0.88 trapped between them with equal areas on the outside. Find the x value on the right and round your answer to 2 decimal places. So first things first, in the interest of help rather than answers, we're going to change that middle area to 0.82 and work from there. So the first thing we want to do is draw a bell-shaped curve. You could do this for z or x. I'm going to go ahead and think about it from the z point of view. So I'll put a 0 in the middle, and the first thing we'll try and do is find the two z values that trap that middle area of 0.82. So we want this area in the middle be 0.82. And then next we want to think about what's on the outside. So total area under the curve is 1. So if we take that 1 and subtract the 0.82, we get 0.09. And if we, jumping ahead here mentally, we get 0.18. And then if we take that 0.18 and we cut that in half, we get 0.09. And the reason we cut it in half is because that remaining area gets split between the two tails. So we have 0.09 on the left and 0.09 on the right. So our strategy here is I'm going to try and find this negative z, which will help me find this z, and then I can use that to find the next value. So that's the path we're going to go down. So to find this z right here, we want to use inverse normal. So negative z equals the inverse normal of the area to its left, and the area to the left of this one is 0.09, and so we'll put that into the calculator and see what we get. So switching over, we want the distribution menu, so the orange second key, distribution, we're doing inverse normal, so we select number 3. We put in the area on the left tail or left side, which is 0.09, and press enter. So we get negative 1.341, always putting exactly 3 decimals on z-scores. Yes, it's a 0, but it's followed by a 7, so we'll round that up. So negative 1.341. All right, so if that's the z on the left, then that tells us that the z on the right is the equal but opposite value. So the z on the right would be positive 1.341. And then from that, we'll get our x value. And x value is mu plus a z-score times sigma. So in this case, the mu was 3.1416 plus, because we want the z-score on the right, the x value on the right. We are going to use the z-score on the right because we want the x value on the right. So 3.1416 plus z, which is 1.341, times the value of the standard deviation, which was 0.82781. All right, and then from there we can just put that in the calculator. And they told us to round this to 2 decimal places, and again, to get the one on the right. So that's why we're focusing on the plus value. If they asked us for the one on the left, we would use the negative z, and this would become a subtraction. So if they wanted the one on the left, this plus sign right here, we would just make that a negative sign instead. All right, so going to the calculator, we have 3.1416 plus 1.341 times the standard deviation, 0.82781. Round that to 2 decimal places, which is actually a little shorter. Usually you're supposed to put as a default 1 decimal place more than the mean. The mean has 4 decimal places, so that would be 5. But they asked us for 2, so we'll do 2. 4.25 followed by 1, so we'll stick with the 5, so 4.25. So x on the right is 4.25. That's what they asked us for, so that would be our answer. And that's what we would enter into the answer box in active learning. All right, so where are the spots that this could potentially go wrong? Well, one of the things that people forget to do sometimes is to split the area. So sometimes they'll just put this 0.18 into the inverse normal, but very important that you cut that in half and figure out the area on each side, and then it's the area to the left that goes into our calculator in the inverse normal slot. So make sure you've split that in half. The other thing sometimes people will do when they split it in half and get 0.09, they'll get that decimal in the wrong spot and put 0.9. So one of the things you can always check, and I'll switch colors here, is take the area on the left, the area in the middle, and the area on the right, and add them together in your calculator. If you split that up correctly, you should get a total of 1. So make sure you're doing that. Remember to put exactly 3 decimal places on your z-score. More or less can change the answer. And then use the plus if you want the x on the right, and then use the minus value right here if you want the x on the left. So in this case, they wanted the x on the right, so I used the positive z-score, which means there's a plus in my formula, which means my answer was bigger than the mean. So all those things can be used to kind of check your work. Hopefully you spot your error in there somewhere and are ready to fix it. So good luck to you as you head back to the quiz.